How we doing, everyone? Tonight I'm gonna show you how to use Pautzke boraxo fire on some scraped steelhead eggs to cure up some single trout eggs to tie in spawn sacs. So we're just gonna lightly dust the eggs with a little bit of boraxo fire, and then I'm gonna show you a few different change-ups once the eggs are cured in the boraxo fire, in the natural boraxo fire, using either orange or any other color you prefer. And then you can even boost your eggs up a little bit more using a little bit of firepower, which is a pure powdered krill that also can act as a bite stimulant or a flavor enhancer for catching winter steelhead. So these eggs on this side, we're going to start, these are uncured steelhead eggs that we've just scraped off the membrane using a spoon. So now we have basically loose single eggs that can be used to tie it into spawn bags. Now these eggs work great as they are, but the problem is they have a very short shelf life. You're lucky if you can get 7 to 10 days out of those uncured steelhead eggs. Unfortunately, most anglers don't get to the water that often, so we need to find a way to preserve those eggs, and not only preserve them, but we can enhance the eggs using some of the Pautzke products to create a nicer milking egg as well as a longer lasting egg, both while fishing and also in the water. So all we're going to start with is a little bit of boraxo fire. We're going to start with the natural color here. We're using it by the teaspoon first, and we're just going to slowly sprinkle this on the eggs. Now don't worry, you can't burn your eggs with this product, so you can add it a little bit more liberally than you could with, say, fire cure or any other sulfate-based cure. So we're going to start with just a little bit of boraxo fire on here. Just cover the eggs like you were sugaring, fruit or berries, and then we're just going to mix it in here. Always be gentle with your spoon. You want to preserve as many of those eggs as you can. So we're just going to work the boraxo fire into these eggs, just stirring slowly and getting these all worked in so that you get a nice covering of boraxo fire on each and every egg. So once these eggs are nicely mixed up, we're just going to let them sit there in the cure. It's the easiest cure there is. You just have to get the egg covered in boraxo fire just slightly so that the cure will have time to work. So I would say that these are pretty well covered. You might add just a touch more here just to make sure that you're good to go. Like I said, you don't have to worry about over application because no sulfite in this cure means that you won't ever have to worry about eggs that are over cured or ruined because they're burned by the sulfite in the cure. So we got these all nice and covered up. These should be good to go. So now on this side here, these are eggs that are already been cured with boraxo fire, and you can see these make a nice beautiful plump egg that are ready to tie in spawn bags as is. We could take these eggs right now and we could tie them in any of these Atlas products and make a great looking spawn bag. But if you want to add a little change-up bait to your repertoire, you should have these eggs. In addition, you can make them any color you want. So now we're going to utilize a little bit of orange boraxo fire here, and just same thing, just a tiny bit of boraxo fire. Now this isn't a lot of eggs here. This is just a portion of the cured eggs that I have from a fish. Now with the orange boraxo fire, remember, the dye in this cure is very, very strong. So we're just going to start with just the smallest bit here. And when I mean the smallest bit, less is more here. Remember, you can always add more orange or red or pink cure to your eggs, but you can't take it away. So less is more. So always start with not a whole lot here. And we're just going to mix this into our eggs. And you can see that they'll already start to take the color here just as I'm stirring these around. The dye in the boraxo fire, the color boraxo fire, is really incredible how strong it is. So remember, less is more when using this. The eggs are already cured using the natural, so you don't need the dye in this to cure the egg. You just are using the dye to color your egg. Now you have a nice orange egg. Now these will, juice out a little bit, so it's best to do this a night ahead of time before you're going to tie your eggs into spawn bags. These eggs should be ready to go. Now, one thing that you can always do is now, these eggs you can add additional firepower. Now there is some krill in the boraxo fire, but we can really power it up using more firepower. Remember, there's no curing additives here, so you can add as much or as little as this as you want. This truly can be the difference in some winter fishing in a good day or a great day. So now, these eggs might look like they're something you don't want to use, but when you throw this in a winter hole that has heavily pressured steelhead, you'll be amazed at some days of how much of a difference that krill powder can really make in fishing for winter steelhead in highly pressured fisheries. So now that we got our eggs all cured up and ready to go, I'm going to show you how we like to tie our spawn sacks in upstate New York to steelhead fish in the winter on the Salmon River, Oswego River, any of the major tributaries throughout the Lake Ontario Great Lakes region. So we're going to use Atlas spawn net here. There's both 3x3 squares and also 4x4 squares. The bigger squares are just if you're looking for a bigger egg sac, a bigger profile in the water, high dirty conditions, or there's some unique fisheries where they want big baits for their fishing. Now, when we go to tie the spawn sack, we're going to take our eggs here. These are just eggs cured in natural boraxo fire. So we're going to take however many eggs we want to make our spawn bag. Sometimes we might tie a nickel size egg sack, dimes, quarters, whatever the conditions warrant. Lower, clearer conditions usually call for a smaller bait. Higher, dirtier water usually require a bigger bait. So we're going to take whatever eggs we want to use here, and we're going to put them in the center of the square. The next thing we do, I personally draw the two corners up together to make like a taco, an egg taco. So then we're going to bring the other two corners up. So now all four corners are up touching each other. I draw the bait tight, and now I'm going to use some Atlas Miracle thread here. And this is the one in the dispenser. You can use the other one, whatever's easier for you. And we're going to take the stretchy thread and we're going to make a few turns here to secure the bait, and we pull until it breaks off. Now most guys will leave the tag end, trim the tag end. I personally like to take the tag end and wrap it back the opposite direction just to get a few more turns on there to make sure my bait's really secure, so that when we set the hook we don't blow the egg sac out and you come back with just the scarf. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim the egg sac. Some guys like to trim it right up tight to the knot, right up tight here. I personally think that the fish actually like a little bit of excess here, so I don't trim them real super tight. I leave just a little bit of a fluff there. Some guys will say that this isn't the way it should be done. It should be trimmed right tight. Everyone's a little bit different. Everyone has a personal preference. This is the way I personally like to tie my egg sacs for catching fish in the Salmon River and other tributaries in New York State for wintertime steelhead. I'm going to go over real quick the colors I like to run for egg sacs, and for me personally, what conditions I use what colors. Pink is great. Pink and chartreuse are both great when the water's a little bit up or a little bit off color, early in the morning or lower light conditions. Although fresh lake run steelhead sometimes really do have a preference for those brighter colors, the brighter colored baits. Orange, white, and blue, as well as peach, for me, are the most all around medium to low flow conditions for spawn sacs that I like to use. Now, in the New York Salmon River, blue is a very niche color. Blue is used all the time. It's probably the most popular color that we fish here in the Salmon River. Now, that's not to say that blue doesn't work every other place. I have quite a few friends who have started to utilize blue in their fishing and have had great success using blue throughout the Great Lakes. Blue can be a great change-up bait for a lot of fisheries because it's just not seen by the fish, versus pink and chartreuse, red, orange are all very, very popular colors no matter where you go. White is a great color whenever you're fishing anytime. It just provides a really natural looking bait where it lets the color of the egg shine through. When you start to use these other colors, you start to get more of the mesh color. White is a great color that will allow you to see the beautiful eggs that you've cured using Pautzke products. So I'm just going to tie a couple more egg sacs for you real quick. So here we're going to grab a peach, and we're just going to take a few more eggs here. And with these bigger 4x4 squares, you could tie pretty big egg sacs if you wanted. So in real high off-water conditions, you could tie egg sacs as big as $50 or definitely quarters, $50, silver dollar size spawn bags if you want. So like I said, I just draw up all four corners. We take the thread here, and we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, somewhere in that neighborhood. Pull tight, take the tag end, wrap it back the other way, pull tight, and then we're going to come in here with a nice sharp pair of scissors and cut the top off and make it nice and flush. So like I said, you can tie egg sacs, small, big, medium. So you could tie egg sacs as small as 1 or 2 eggs. Back in the days before bead fishing, a lot of anglers would take 1, 2, or even 3 salmon eggs and tie them in a piece of spawn net and make very, very small presentations for when the fish are on a single egg bite. Higher, dirtier flows, you might want to go with a real big quarter, $50 size, so that the fish can see the bait in the high, dirty water.
Pautzke products are available at sporting goods stores near you. If you can't find the specific color, size that you want, make sure to go to Pautzke.com. And as a thank you for watching Pautzke Outdoors, we're going to show you a coupon code to be used for 10% off your next order.